Hey guys, this is Jeremy here at RC Collaborative, and we have Jeff Bowland here, aka Team Driver, and we're gonna glue up some tires. So he's got a different process that I've never done before. We're gonna use tire jigs, and let's just see how he does. He's been doing this for how long?
Oh, since 1991. We used to actually cut tires in half and glue them back together when we didn't like the tread design. So we would actually make our own tires.
We're not doing that today. No.
That takes all the fun out of it.
No. Today I have some James tires, .evos, and some 6-mix weapons. And you have some AKA tires, I'm sure?
Yep, I'm going to be doing Truggy tires. He's going to be doing the buggy side. So I'm going to be gluing up a set of AKA gridirons for the Truggy. These are super soft longwares, and we'll be using the Thunder Innovation Tire Jig to assist us a little bit. And he's going to be using a 6-mix tire jig to assist him. I know one of his previous videos he was having an issue with gluing a tire to his finger, and we're going to show him how to try to avoid that in the near future.
So what's the process? First we gotta clean them?
Yep, so first thing you do is you want to prep the tire itself. So depending on how your tires come, my particular tires will come non-retail packaged, so mine look a little bit different. So I take mine out and we're just going to kind of open them up. And just kind of, I just want to stretch them out just a little bit. It just helps the rubber open up just a hair.
So you massage them and
Yep.
such?
Yep, just a little bit.
Well, yours have been rolled up and such.
Yeah, they've been rolled up, and when they come in a retail package like that, it's not so important because the inserts are in them, so it kind of maintains their shape inside, unless they've been packed away for a little while. Sometimes they'll develop some flat spots in the inserts themselves. So we'll take a look at the inserts before we actually put those inside the tire as well.
So these are the .evos. They got a really tall pin on them. These tires work pretty much in any condition, anywhere.
Yeah, those right there for the budget racer, those really are a go-to tire. A lot of our independent guys do run those tires. So
you can buy an entire set of these glued with inserts, everything for 40 bucks or dialed, and that's in my opinion, a really good deal, because you can spend $60 on another brand easily.
Yeah, it is, and tires are the make or break when you're racing. They can tend to get a little costly. Especially on high abrasive tracks and stuff like that. So basically the first step to tire prep, what we're going to do is we want to make sure on the inside of any tire you're going to see like a chalky, almost a white substance. Sometimes it's an oily substance. What that is that's mold release. So when the tire comes out of the mold, they spray an oil or a powder in there that helps it release from the mold itself so that the rubber doesn't stick to the mold. Any hot injected type of product is going to have some sort of a mold release on it. So there's multiple different ways to clean that mold release off. You can use acetone, you can use carb cleaner, you can use simple green, you can use alcohol. My preferred way is usually going to be simple green or just carb cleaner. You can use brake cleaner, it doesn't matter. So the key to most of this is you want to make sure that you're getting a good surface for the glue to mate onto the tire itself. So if you're going to be using carb cleaner, you want to make sure you're in a ventilated area because this stuff can give you a headache. And if you're a smoker, try not to be smoking while you're using this stuff. So
why?
Well, it will cause a slight fireball in your face. So I use a corner method. So on your towel, you're going to have a corner, and you're just literally going to spray one side, and we're going to go around, and we want to clean the mold release agent off the inside where it's going to seep. So what you'll start to see is the rubber will become shiny. And as it starts to dry, it will start to dull and get like a satin finish. Now what I will do is I'll turn it over on the same side, and we're going to go over the other side as well.
So this side I just cleaned, and this side hasn't been cleaned. You can still see this one looks like Casper, all white. And this one's got a clean rim.
So if you look at this dark stuff that comes out on the rag, this is the mold release agent. That's what you're trying to clean off. So once you get both sides done, you can actually just turn that particular towel over and use the back side of that corner. And then I like to go over the bead again, just to make sure that we don't have any leftover cleaning agent or release agent.
You've only got 4 tires to scrub.
Yeah, you got a little bit more work to do.
Hold on, I think.
So if you'll see on the back side of that, my release agent is now gone. So I'll still take that. I prefer to actually, oh, you think you're funny. So I'll actually come out, and I like to clean the sidewall as well, simply because when we put it into the jig and you press the jig down, it stretches the tire sidewall out, and I don't want to have any of the mold release agent contaminate the glue going down on the wheel itself.
Alright, so we're gonna clean all these tires, and we'll be right back with you.
After we get done cleaning and prepping the tires themselves, you'll start to feel the surface of the tire itself will actually grip your thumb. So that's the actual characteristic of the rubber, and you know it's bare rubber, and it's ready to accept the glue to the wheel itself. So Jeremy has started doing holes in the tires. So everybody has their own opinions on holes on tires. You can run 2 holes, you can run 4 holes. Basically what that does is it allows the air to escape from the tire itself. So when you accelerate, the tire will expand, and it needs to be able to evacuate the air so that the tire patch can run as flat as possible on the surface of the racetrack. So consider that mixed with the type of foam you use as an air pressure. So depending on the surface of the track, sometimes you're going to want to run 2 holes, you may want to run 4. It's all personal preference and how it specifically feels to you. Some guys will punch the holes directly in the center of the tread. Some will go out to the sidewalls. I'm one of those guys that likes to run the holes on the sidewalls, and what you do is you come up the sidewall all the way to the corner of the tire itself, and I like to put mine on the inside. So I'll come up and I'll find the 2 lugs right where the patch meets the sidewall, and I'll punch the hole, and you can see it right there. And if you're going to run 2 holes, obviously you just run them 180 degrees out from each other. or as close as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. It helps, but you know, to be as close. So you'll have 2 holes on the inside. I also like to mount mine to the inside where the dot that tells me what the compound is to the inside of the wheel.
I also feel that there's some ribs inside here, inside the tire. These are ribs here, so I'm trying to make sure I punch
You want
in
to be
between those ribs instead of on the rib.
You want to be between the ribs. You don't want to accidentally punch a hole in the rib, because that's what's giving the sidewall its strength to keep it from ballooning. So too much ballooning is actually taking forward bite and contact patch away from the tire.
So we're almost done punching the holes. Then the last thing, we didn't prep our wheels. Is that the next step?
Well, what I'll do is, after I get done punching the holes in the tires, that's when I'll actually set the inserts into the wheels themselves. And I like to let the inserts sit inside the tires for a few minutes before pressing them out onto the wheels. So what that does, it allows the insert itself to start to conform to the inside of the tire, and allows the carcass of the tire to expand just a little bit, and gives it a basically the round profile that you're looking for. And while I'm doing that, while I'm just kind of letting them sit for a little bit, that's when I'll go ahead and prep the surface of the wheels and get those ready to be mounted. So today I'm going to be using AKA's red inserts. So when I do the inserts, I like to come through, put the insert in, and then I'll use my fingers to come in and just kind of center them into the tread and make sure that they're centered so that the sidewall itself falls down over the edge of the tire. And then you just kind of give it a pull, just like that. Set it down and move on to the next one. So what that does is, if you'll notice on the inside of these inserts, it has these ridges. So this part right here sits inside of here, like this. And that's basically the tray to keep the insert centered on the wheel itself. So that's why I like to make sure that they're kind of centered in the tire first. Give them just a little pull. I just kind of pull the sidewalls down.
After this video, we're going to show you how to recycle your wheels and inserts. Get the rubber off the wheels. Jeff's already got some tires prepped and ready to be de-rubbered, and so we'll show you that next.
Did you just say de-rubbered?
De-rubbered.
De-rubbered. Alright, so
surface.
Yep. You just find a clean surface on your cleaning rag, and you can use brake clean, or you can use whatever you were using to clean. During the break, he stole my carb cleaner because I was faster than he was.
That's right.
And these right here, it doesn't take as much. So
it's a hard surface. There's not really.
It's not
really
porous
staging.
much, and you're not going to have as much mold release that stays on the wheel itself. So you just want to gently go around the edge, make sure that any dust and debris or mold release is kind of cleaned off of it. Now you won't see anything coming off on your towel on these ones, because I do know that when they come out of the mold release, or when they come out of the mold, they're actually washed in a detergent solution before they're packaged. But you never know. Nothing's more frustrating than running, top 3 in an A main and you start to lose a tire.
In my other videos, I talk about using adhesives, double-sided tape, anything that you're trying to get something to stick to, and I always stress cleaning the surface with alcohol first. And it doesn't matter if this came out of a package. I've seen products that are supposed to be clean that aren't. Whenever you do something, it's your responsibility to clean it yourself to make sure you're successful. Otherwise, you don't really know what's there. But you know if you do it yourself, it's done.
Right.
And that you're going to have a better product.
Right, absolutely. You can put as much faith and trust into something, but unless you're hands-on in the process, you're never going to be 100% sure that it was done the way that it needed to be done in order to be right.
That's why it's good to do stuff yourself instead of depending on friends and stuff to do it for you.
Correct.
Not that they're not trying to help, but
yeah,
they always say don't gamble on anything but yourself.
Yeah, correct. You're absolutely right. So now that we've got all of that done, the trickiest part is actually setting the foam onto the wheel. Now, a lot of people will come in and they'll stretch it and they'll pull it over the wheel. You got to remember, as if you stretch this with your thumbs or whatever, you run the risk of actually breaking the foam inside. So what I like to do is just kind of wedge it in here in the opening. You're just going to kind of work the tire around just a little bit, and once it passes through past this first ridge, all you've got to do is just push the tire down and work the tire over the rest of the wheel, and then you're going to push it back to the bead itself. Now, you're also going to know if your tire is cleaned enough, because it's going to squeak. Yeah, it'll stick to the wheel. So it's, that's a telltale sign right away whether or not you got the wheel clean enough. So you just want to keep pushing back, and you're going to be able to see the front side of the foam where it kicks over that ridge. So what I'll do is I'll actually continue to go over all the way past that ridge with the bead of the tire, and then I'll take my hands and I'll just simply push down on the wheel and pull the tire back forward, and then work the edge of the tire to make sure that the edge of the bead, this part right here, is on the outside of the ridge of the wheel. Now this is the part that takes so long. So what will end up happening if you miss one one little section of it, and you go to put it in the jig, or even if you're doing this by hand, you're not using a jig, and you miss that one section and you glue it in there, what'll happen is the glue will actually glue the rest of it. That one section that you missed, you won't be able to pull it away and get it back down on the right side of that little ridge.
These foams are super fat. Look how that fits.
Yep.
I don't know if that's gonna be a good fit.
So now you'll notice once you do that and you push it down, you're gonna have all this hanging out of the back. So you can do the same thing on the back side. You're gonna lift it up and over. And what that does is that's actually gonna center the foam in that ridge. And then you do the same thing. You go around the tire and you make sure that the edge is on this side. And what I can do is actually show you the difference in the speed of hand gluing one and using a jig.
This one don't even need a jig, it just wants to sit open.
Well, once you put that in the jig, you'll see what I'm talking about. And if you look, you have it where are your holes.
Yeah.
So once you have the bead lined up, so even before it's glued, I like to basically just kind of push down on the sidewalls, and it'll push the tire into that locking ring right here. So you're pushing the tire in so that the bead hits this locking ring, and then I'll take the tire and just gently roll it. So what that does is, in case the insert is bunched up just a little bit in there, it'll help roll it out. And there we have the very first one of our non-glued. You can see that once you get everything locked down, the tire is actually still a little loose on the bead, but that's okay. But it's sitting down inside of that locking ring.
Yeah, I've got it right up against that bead.
Yep.
And then once we put the band on it, I almost feel like I should trim these foams.
No, you see what's going to happen when you put this in the jig. Okay, it's going to actually push down on this. So what you can do is you can squeeze it in. Okay, so what he's running into is that the foam seems a little wider than what the tire is.
I know some people trim them.
Yeah, you can trim them. It doesn't hurt anything. So what we'll start to do is just kind of ease these in like this, and actually it works to his benefit.
My glue is going to go right in.
Exactly.
I don't even need a jig on that one.
Yeah.
Because if I use the thin,
right,
it'll go right in there.
But we want to use the jig so that you don't glue it to your phone.
Right. Well, I brought gloves this time.
Okay. So what this is actually going to do is going to give us an easy way to show what it's going to look like where the tire needs to sit on that interlocking bead. So as you can see, with the tire up and kind of pushed back a little bit, you can see that the bead itself is open.
This one is perfect. Look at this one.
So when you put this into a jig, what you're going to do is you're going to use the see how the tire's actually coming off the back side right here?
Yeah, it doesn't fit very well.
Right. So as you push the tire forward, look what happens. When you push the tire forward. So,
have you ever put a rubber band on before putting it in the jig? Is it something you've ever tried? I'm almost wondering for this tire if it'd be beneficial.
I haven't, and it's only because I'm familiar with the jig and how it works and what it's going to do to the tire. I'll show you, because what happens is you see where it's pushing the tire away from the wheel. When it goes into the jig and you close it down, it pushes the wheel down and it pulls the tire in. So, like on yours, and you want to use thin glue? Alright. So, we're going to take his jig. Now again, this is a 6-wick jig. This is 6061 aluminum. This thing is fantastic. It speeds up the process of gluing tires, and it makes it so much easier. So you're basically just going to drop it down on here. So when you put it down on here, you're going to push the wheel down. See what it did to the tire bead? So all you're going to do is you're going to close the lid. Now look what it does to the tire bead. So it exposes
the entire wheel. The whole bead is there.
Yeah, the entire bead. So I haven't put any glue in it, but as you'll watch, when you lift it up, so all it does is it uses the interlocking, it uses this part of the wheel to catch the edge of the tire, and then it pushes down on the edge of the tire to expose the bead. So, we're just going to make sure that we're still lined up, because I did take it out of the jig without putting glue on it. Alright, so which glue do you want to use?
I like using thin glue.
Okay.
But
alright, so here's the really neat thing about the tire jig.
You might need some pliers.
Or we just happen to have an extra bottle of thin glue. Alright, so as Jeremy has put out the warning earlier, it is possible to glue your fingers together.
Or your eyes.
Or your eyes. Shout out to my boy Brett. So we're going to go down, we're going to lock the jig. All we're going to do is put a little bit of glue at the top right here, and we're going to rotate the jig. As you rotate it, you can see the glue go around the bead. We're going to unlock it, we're going to push the wheel down, and we're going to put a band on it.
You want to make sure that band is towards the top of the...
Yeah, you want it towards the top.
As high as you can without it coming off.
Yep. So what will end up happening is sometimes the tire the bead is just pulled out a little bit too far. That's not the jig or anything else. Maybe your insert choice, maybe a wheel choice. It doesn't matter. So you put just a little bit of pressure on it, and look at that. It looks like a professional pre-glued glue job.
Probably should have trimmed my inserts.
It was that particular. The Dot Evos are just kind of like that. And we're using a Proline insert in a James tire. So I'll actually show you the benefit of that here in just a moment. So we'll go back. Let's go to our Truggy. So it's going to work the same exact way. The really neat thing about the Truggy, obviously, because it's a much larger tire, is that the tire bands that we're using are going to stretch and they're going to pull it a lot tighter. So this one's going to work the same exact way. We're going to go in, yourself around. Release the jig. We're going to take a tire band. We're going to go around it. And this is just to remove any air that may be trapped inside of the sidewall of the tire. And if you happen to have any extra, glue that runs off or anything, you can just wipe off the excess. That way there you're not gluing your hand to your tire. Jeremy putting on safety gear, of course.
Yep.
And there you go. That is your glued tire out of a tire jig.
I'm not risking it. That was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. It wasn't fun.
Alright, so you're just going to want to put glue right here at the top. I put it at the top. And you want enough to where it's going to run around the tire. Okay. Now just rotate the jig around. You see the glue following it? See it all the way over here?
I'm following it from the front.
Yep. Now once it gets back up there, just release it. And put a band on it. And there you go. And then you can just wipe the excess off.
I like to run it around again.
Yep, you can absolutely do that.
Sometimes I like, even if there's not enough, like this one didn't have enough, if there's not enough, I like to put another dab and I like to run another bead around.
And you can absolutely do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, this one didn't have much on there, and I'm excessive, so I'm gonna put another drop and run that around. I just like to make sure the bead is full of glue. Surface area is surface area. There we go. Alright, 2 down, 6 to go for me. That's only one side.
Yep. On a bright note, the second side goes a lot faster.
Does it now?
Yep.
Why is that?
Well, because you're already set on one side, so when you go to put the tire in the jig, it drops down a lot easier, and it's just a lot easier to work with. See how pretty that is? Put your band on.
Yeah. And that's critical for a good bond.
Yep.
Not really a good bond, but a tight bond. You don't want space in between it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got the excess bead I'm running around. That looks good. I like the thin glue because it really gets down into the bead all the way, and it's easy to run around, and it's not as thick and blotchy. It doesn't leave giant blobs of glue.
Right. It'll run to its lowest point.
Right, exactly. And if you put too much, you can just run it down wherever it is and wipe it off. I never really have any excess to wipe. I like to just leave it beaded up. I don't know how you like to wipe it, but I find it gets stuck sometimes.
Yeah, if you're gonna wipe it off, you got to make sure you do it while it's still super wet. Now, by no means are we saying that, the best way is to use the jig, but it is easier. It's a little bit faster.
I've never used one before. This is my first time.
But you do get a much better finish.
My bottom bead got popped out, but that's fine. Put a little too much. I also find you use less glue with the fin.
Yes.
It does the job quicker and better.
Yeah. And with the jig, you'll use less glue as well.
Need more bands.
Well, you were just going to town, ain't you?
Yeah, while you were talking, I was putting inserts and tires and wheels and stuff together. The jig does make it easier because normally I'd have to press peel, and with the thin glue, it's instant pretty much. Once it hits a new spot, it better be set right where it is, and it adds another challenge without the jig that I found. Because you gotta keep ahead of the glue. As the glue's coming, you gotta press the bead and let it. Oh look, see?
How did you manage to
Dude, I don't know, man. This is why I wear the gloves. I'm gonna replace them. Yeah. I'm a glue magnet, man. I'm wearing the gloves, damn it.
How did you do that?
I'm wearing the gloves, I'm telling you. I'm just destined for chemical burns and have tires glued to my hand.
Oh, I see how you did it. Alright, so with your OCD
I put too much?
and putting too much glue in, what happened is when it got to the bottom of the jig,
Oh, it rolled down?
it rolled down and you grabbed it right where it pulled up.
Well, I'm gonna have some extra traction on that one spot.
Yeah. So what I would do is if it gets to that point and you know you're gonna have too much, just take a minute and just wipe the excess off.
My OCD.
You didn't push the wheel down.
I did, but it didn't go in. Not much I can do there. I should have trimmed my inserts. Learning experience.
Are you kidding me?
I'm trying to push the bead back down. I don't think it's gonna go. I recommend the gloves, guys.
That's 2 in a row he's glued himself.
We can't all be perfect like Mr. Jeff Bowland over here.
That's 2 in a row.
That won't be the last one.
My goodness. Maybe we ought to get you like super thick glue. So you gotta paint it on with a stick. Does Elmer's make tire glue? Don't add any more glue, just keep rotating it. The glue's there. That's why you keep gluing your fingers to the tires. And I put your band on, and see, that's gonna come out perfect.
Turn your expo down. Stop coming in so hot. Put less glue. Wise words of Jeff Bowland.
Yes. Slow is fast.
Slow down!
Slow is fast.
Slow down!
Slow is fast.
You're gonna kill somebody! Pushing down on the wheel, Jeff. Giving it CPR.
It's gonna work there, Mr. Glue-tastic.
It needs more glue. It needs more, Jeff.
Why? Because it's not running down over your fingers?
Because my finger's not glued to it. It's not working. I don't see the glue, so it's not there, right? Sure it doesn't need a dab?
That's all you, bro. I don't know. At the end of this, we'll take a look at mine versus his.
I'm on the massive production line over here.
You're on the Henry Ford side?
This is the quantity, not quality section.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm trying to keep up with your single set.
Alright, so with the tire band and the jig and thin glue, it actually allows you to glue a set of tires rather quickly. I've actually been able to glue up a set of tires literally 3 or 4 minutes before a main for Zach. And they didn't come unglued, and they actually stayed quite well. So, I mean, if you're in a time crunch, the jig makes it so much faster that if you need to, you can glue a set really, really quick.
I don't know where I started, so I'm just going to pick random. Talking about these tire jigs for like the past 2 months.
I know, and people think I'm crazy, and I mean, they are an expense. I mean, they're not necessarily cheap, but something that makes your life better. It makes it easier, and in the long run, it does. I'm never gonna say that they pay for themselves, but you use less glue. You make less mistakes gluing tires, and nothing is more frustrating than gluing up a new set of tires and misgluing one and thinking, well, now I've got a ruined set of tires. And a certain confidence level in knowing that your tires have been glued properly, you know you have enough glue, you know that you have enough surface area. You know,
I like that it shows you the bead. You see the glue is at the bottom of the bead. You
right.
know it's all the way in there. It's not. It was never like that for me before. And part of that is the thin glue. Part of the equation is the thin glue, and the other part is the jig opening it up.
Right. So I managed to get just a little too much glue on the inside of this one, but it makes it super easy. See, I'd rather not glue my fingers to it, so I'm just going to take it and wipe my towel on the inside of it.
That's how I glued my fingers together, was trying to wipe off the excess, but it was a paper towel. It got me through the paper towel.
Alright, fair enough.
Gloves. I'm going to preach gloves. He's going to preach less glue.
No gloves. See, no gloves.
That's okay. If you screw up and you're dumb like me, then the gloves will maybe help you.
I won't lie, it took me a little bit of practice to get good and fast with the jig, but not that long, because it's really simple to use.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. At least it's like, it's not like a whole different process. It's just doing something for you that you were already having to do.
I can actually do buggy tires pretty quick. Truggy tires still take a little while, but buggy tires I can usually do pretty quick. You done yet?
No. I did have more to do than you.
Yeah, but they're smaller.
Oh, that makes it all better.
It does, doesn't it?
No, No. I think the Truggy tires are easier. You don't have to fight them so hard to go on the wheel.
Do I hear a challenge?
Challenge?
Is that what's coming up? Is it challenge?
No.
A tire gluing challenge?
I don't think I heard it.
Is that?
I don't think so.
Guys, you let us know in the comments below.
Oh Jesus.
Yep. If you just heard a Jeremy put up a tire gluing challenge.
That's not what I heard. I heard Truggy tires are easier.
Which
means you would beat me.
But what I'm saying is Truggy tires may be easier, but I'm pretty sure that I could still beat you with buggy tires if you were doing Truggy tires.
Ah, I see how you flipped it. Gotcha.
See what I did there?
That works. That works.
Okay.
I see what you did.
So I smell a gluing tire challenge coming up. So leave a comment in the section below. See if you guys would like to see that challenge.
I like where you're thinking there.
See?
Yeah, get the people involved. Yeah, we want to see Jeremy get his ass kicked.
See, look, 4 glued tires that are twice as big as the buggy in less time than he did his 8 small buggy tires.
He's on the racer mess. It's a racer mess.
You're good. Just set it down. I'm trying to help you. Slower's faster. Less is more.
So what are we doing after this, guy?
So, after we go over this, we'll pull our bands off and we'll kind of show the end result. And then we'll move on to how to recycle your wheels after you glue them improperly with Jeremy Hopkins. So, for the next video, it's going to be how to recycle the wheel that he glued to his hand. That's the one with the thumbprint on it in there, right?
Is that the best you got?
No, I got better ones.
You got more?
I got more. I got jokes. I got jokes. So
joke along. I'm gonna keep wearing the gloves.
You gonna keep wearing the gloves with the hole in them?
Yeah.
So guys, again, these are both 6061 machined aluminum. The Truggy one comes from Thunder Innovation.
This one comes with shock dampers.
It does. Those are custom. Those are custom built shock dampers. Again, by Thunder Innovation, the Truggy one. They also make a buggy version. I see you do have the high-speed glove in the bead of that one.
I've got the sidewall traction mod.
Yep.
Yeah, the latex rubber mod. Nobody's got that. That's a Jeremy special.
Well, it's latex, so it's for safe cornering.
So what you're saying is I'm running with some extra rubber?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've gone over the jig usage, tire prep.
Showing them how to glue your finger to a tire.
Yep, they are completely educated on gluing fingers to tires. Tire band placement is going to vary just a little bit, but not much. Something that is important though is you don't want to leave the band on too long because it will actually start to malform inside. It'll squeeze the foam and it'll stay that way sometimes.
So it's not okay to do them and then go to sleep?
No, you definitely don't want to go to sleep and wake up with them like that. So if you can see just the sidewall from it being on there, and this was the first tire that I started with, so
yeah, that side's compressed.
Yep. So if you look, very professional looking glue job on the front, no added latex on the back side, but it's still got that shoulder on it. So what we do is like when we put it together, you just want to squeeze it out and just roll it just a little bit, and it'll help expand the foam inside.
That one.
Yeah, that one's definitely gonna be interesting. Yep. So now to cone head. But after you roll it, it gives you a nice tread pattern.
Oh, look at the protection on that.
That is, well, and actually you've got it on two sides. So you've got part of the tire band on that side. So what you've actually done is a red and blue. So you're actually marking the compound of the tires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we're about done here. We got something to show them. That's about it.
Yep, that's pretty much it. That's the end result of using the jig. It does give you a much more uniform glue. It's much faster, a lot easier to use.
You were telling me, we were talking before the video about the plastic jigs, and you're saying to avoid those.
Yeah, if you can, what will happen is, now the plastic jig obviously is going to be a little bit more inexpensive, but believe it or not, it's not that much cheaper in price. But what happens is over time, the plastic jigs will start to bend just a little bit. So the top half will start to bend down, and it won't pull the bead down all the way. So you'll be fighting with it quite a bit. So it's best, instead of having to buy two plastic jigs, just get the, go ahead and spend the extra, I want to say it's $19 or $20 on the aluminum one. It's going to last a lot longer. It's a little bit heavier, but let's be honest, it looks really cool, and it's worth the extra money.
There's a good amount of pressure the jig puts on the tire to get it to do that. So I can see the plastic warping and not really keeping true, and maybe having issues latching or something like that.
Yeah, it'll start to get to where the latch will start to pull just a little bit, so it won't actually, when you go to latch it, it won't pull it all the way down in the front. So you'll start getting an irregular glue bead inside. So you'll just start to get small areas that are don't have as much surface area glued to the wheel.
All right, well that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. We've glued up a bunch of tires. I know the video is a little bit long, but it's the complete process, and I like to show you everything. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you really want a tire gluing challenge, then
you're going down.
Then maybe we'll do it. I'm sure Mr. Bowland's got plenty of tires around here we can play with. So
I've got a couple.
You got a couple. All right. There's not totes of tires over here. So there's not. But until next time, see you guys later. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching my videos and supporting me. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment below. Please let me know if the videos helped you, what you would like to see in the next videos, and if there's anything we can do to make the quality of the videos better for you, that would be great. If you're a vendor and you'd like to send me something to review, a product review, or would like to sponsor me for racing, my email is just down here. Send me an email, we'll work it out. Other than that, collab on, guys.